together a short time ago. That's because of my vacation. So we do have a pretty significant agenda today with a lot of things to discuss. So we're excited, a lot of good things to discuss. So David, will you please join us? David's been gone for the last couple months. We're grateful for this meeting. He hasn't been gone that long, but we're grateful to have you back.
Yeah, I just happen to have had conflicts, so I've missed this for several times, but I understand that Judy filled in for me. So that the lesson we've learned is that if you ever feel like you don't have a prayer, call Judy. But yeah, it was good. And a week ago today, this room was, Ryan, this room was filled to the brims, bleeding over into the side room. So I guess we need to do this in song or something to get folks to come when the chorale performance. Or for some of us, if you want to empty the room, we can do that too. Well, as we get ready to pray, I remember one of our residents, she passed away a couple of years ago in memory care and later in health care. Every time we had a prayer time, she just offered up a very simple, heartfelt, and profound prayer request, and she did this almost every week for 7 years. She said, pray for our country. Pray for our country. And I think that would be a good thing. So as we just had Independence Day, before we pack away all of our Independence Day thinking and goodwill and good wishes and so forth until next year, and in honor of that saintly resident, let's reflect that same faith and unwavering love for this country and pray for America. Join with me as we pray. Gracious and sovereign God, reflecting on the birthday of this nation in which we live, and inspired by the music of the chorale last week, we gather with hearts full of emotion to pray for our country. We tap into our sentiments of gratitude, pride, confidence, hope, and yes, even lament as we come before you. Lord, we confess a love for this nation in which we live. We're thankful for the freedoms that it has afforded us thus far and the ideals on which it was founded. So help us to be good stewards of the opportunities our nation affords, and may we be ever vigilant to preserve the legacy of the freedoms we have enjoyed to pass on to others of this generation and the next. And forgive us if ever we are selfish with those freedoms, rather than sharing them generously with all who live among us. As justifiable as our appreciation of our country is, we have to confess that it gets harder sometimes to recognize the soul of the nation we've been accustomed to celebrate. As we have sung and heard songs and hymns this past week that echo themes of liberty and justice and welcome for all, we also feel the disconnect between that wonderful heritage and a new identity that seems to be emerging. We seem to be tilting more toward a nation that too often harms the vulnerable and rewards the ruthless. A nation that oppresses the needy but enriches the greedy. A nation where rage is louder than reason and vengeance drowns out mercy. Where welcome is withdrawn from those seeking safety and generosity is rationed in the name of self-interest. Where the poor are overlooked, workers are rendered jobless dismissively, and essential services for the least of these in our land are reduced or eliminated. Where too often people have lost the ability or even the interest to come now, let us reason together in deference to the will and vision of just one or a few. But we are told with feigned piety that this is what you want, and so it's okay. But Lord, we shake our heads and wonder, how did this happen? How did this happen to America? And yet, we come here today not in despair, because we come as people of faith. We come as a community of hope. We come as brothers and sisters bound together by love for you, or at least bound to one another by a commitment to a social contract that transcends the brokenness of any system or nation. We look around this room, this gathering of neighbors and friends and co-workers, and we're reminded that goodness still lives here. Compassion still breathes among us. Ministry to the vulnerable still happens here. Even this very week, school supplies are being provided for those in need of them. And we are reminded that your impulse to be generous and gracious still moves among us. Lord, as the psalmist of old said, some trust in chariots and some in horses, or perhaps these days it would say politics and governments, but we trust in the name of the Lord our God. Those things collapse and fall, but we rise and stand upright. So help us, O God, to keep our eyes where they belong, and that is on you. Remind us now of the prayer embedded in the hymn, God of our fathers, whose almighty hand, which many of us have sung across scores of years during those seasons in which our thoughts turned to America. Thy love divine hath led us in the past. In this free land by thee our lot is cast. Be thou our ruler, guardian, guide, and stay. Thy word our law, thy paths our chosen way. May it be so, O Lord. May it be so. Amen.
Amen. I'm glad David's back. Thank you, David. Today, we're gonna do an update of the chapel and the garden. You've seen a lot of construction going on over the past few weeks. In fact, it's only been about 3 weeks. So the contractors and all are really moving right along with it. Our committee met a week ago, and there were some issues from some RGV residents about the chapel. So hopefully those concerns will be answered today. To begin with, the chapel and the garden project was approved and supported by Rolling Green Village Board of Directors. This is one of the first times that they've actively gotten involved in a project, not just by verbally saying they support it, but by giving money out of their own pockets to it. And I think that is such a relevant part of the chapel and the need that we have for the chapel. A committee of residents and staff was formed over a year ago, and we have representatives from all areas of the campus, as well as from different faith backgrounds on this committee. And they have done a great job of talking to other residents, trying to share and get people to understand what the chapel is to be. And the committee has been meeting for over a year now, once or twice a month. So they really have been dedicated to serving as a committee. We have presented 3 open meetings to residents. We did 2 meetings that were totally informational, and we had committee members available to answer questions. Then a panel discussion was presented to residents. It included 2 residents, 2 staff members, 1 leadership position, and a board member. And they each shared why a chapel is needed for Rolling Green Village. We're in the process now of having a video made from those people for those of you that didn't get to hear it, but it was a wonderful presentation. During these presentations, in the chapel brochure, the purpose of the chapel has been presented. The brochures are the little half booklets that are hanging out in the hall out there. But we've had several new people and all moving into Rolling Green, so we just need to take a little bit of time to review the purpose of the chapel. As you recall, we showed this layout several months ago, and the green star up in the top is where we are right now. And the hallway is out there. There's a restroom, and across from the restroom will be the entrance to the chapel. Give or take, it's where those photos are hanging out in the hall. We will have a chaplain's office, a workroom, and the chapel area. And then in the brown is the prayer garden will be out there, and it will swing around the building, around the village center. This is an updated drawing of the inside of the chapel area. We have soft seating chairs that will be in there the majority of the time. It's got stained glass windows that go on the sides. There's 5 long windows, and we have those, and then we have the circular window, and that's what the board has donated, the circular window in the back. Now, there has been a terrible delay through the years before I started in getting this project going. So, the leadership of Rolling Green Village and the board agreed to help support getting this started, because typically we would have had to have waited another 2 to 4 years to, if we had done a complete capital campaign at that time. It's projected to be $800,000 for the chapel and $200,000 for the garden. But I know I've already cut some cost on both of those. So, but we're aiming for $1 million cost overall. And this is because there's been a lot of questions asked about the expense, but this is 2025, and tariffs and different supplies all contribute to the cost being higher, and any building has gone up over the last year or so. Now, how will the funds be raised? RGV has agreed when we first started that they would cover the cost, because I basically didn't have hardly any money to work with, and I had no idea how the funds were going to come in from the residents and the board of directors and family members, and even some outside churches. So we are dealing with all those groups to ask them, but Rolling Green had promised in good faith that it would be kind of like a bridge loan. If you've ever built a house, sometimes you take out a bridge loan until your old house might sell, something like that. Now, this is a capital campaign. It's different from what Rolling Green has done in the past. With a capital campaign, you have opportunities to donate a larger amount of money over a 3-year period. And it can be divided up into monthly, twice a year, or yearly payments. So you don't have to pay your donation all at one time when you make that pledge. The pledges are accepted for 3 years, and hopefully what that does is encourage people to be able to donate higher amounts of donation. And with a capital campaign, there's lots of opportunities to name certain items. Now, year to date, we have raised, in 2023, we raised 13% of the total $1 million cost. We raised $135,000. In 2024, and this is still without any active fundraising going on. This was all just by chance, people were hearing about it. We raised 16% with the when we added that in, that came up to 16% with the $27,000. In 2025, we have raised $485,500. So that's at a 35%. And so when you add all that together, our total we have raised so far since 2023 is $648,000, which is 64% of the total we need for the entire project. We need to raise another 36%, and that's about $350-something thousand. And if anybody has your checkbook with you today, I will be tell you how to make the check out. Now, there have been some other concerns about the purpose of the chapel. The overall definition of a chapel is a place of worship, sometimes interfaith, that is part of a building or a complex with some other main purpose. Usually a chapel is a place for prayer, meditation, quiet, refuge, or just a sacred place. Chapels are found in colleges, hospitals, palaces, large aristocratic homes, castles, barracks, airports, or commercial ships. You've probably walked through the airport maybe and seen a sign that says chapel. And it's just a small room where people can go and have communication with their God, get peace, have serenity, whatever they might need before a flight. So this leads us to the fact that the Rolling Green Village Board and leadership, staff and residents have decided that we need a place of refuge here on this campus. So how will the chapel be used? The chapel will be a designated place, quiet solitude, designed for individuals to spend time alone for meditation, contemplation, and prayer. It is a sacred place that will be used by individuals. Now, there will be comfortable seating. There will be 2 prayer kneelers. Those are the little wooden pieces of furniture that usually has a padded top, and you can kneel if you choose to do that. The chapel will not be a multi-purposed room. It is a place for individuals to spend time alone for meditation, contemplation, and prayer. It is not for any particular worship services because it is very small. It is a quiet place that 5, 6, 8, up to 24 people could gather, but it's probably going to be smaller numbers of people in there at a given time. Who will use the chapel? It will be a place for Rolling Green Village families to gather, especially after the loss of a family member, as well as an area that family members can gather to pray for the next step in taking care of their loved ones. Families with the chapel will not have to gather in the hallways of the licensed area when their loved one dies. And that's unfortunately the way it's been at Rolling Green for too many years. That people, when they lost a loved one, they had no place to gather. I think that is one of the most important reasons to have a chapel. It will be open to all who live or work here or visit here. The chapel shall be available daily around the clock for residents, families, and staff to use for prayer and meditation. Unfortunately, in the licensed area, a lot of our passing happens in the night, in the dark hours, and our staff needs a place to go because they have loved these residents as their own family. They have really become bonded to them, and when they pass, it's like losing a part of themselves. So that the chapel will be open around the clock, so staff or residents or family members can use it. It will have the chaplain's office inside the new building. There will be a small conference area where the chaplain can meet with families, and there will be a resource center with various reading materials on grief, depression, loss. Are there any other questions that I might not have answered about the chapel?
How many people, you said there'll be a conference area in there, how many will that?
4. It's like, have y'all ever been to Anna Grace's office? She has a round table, or in Ryan's office, he has a little round table. It will just have a round table. That's what the conference is, so that David can meet with families. Right now, David, unfortunately, when somebody is sick or is dying, he has to find a room somewhere to meet with the families because he can't meet with them in his office. There's not enough, the current office, not enough room.
It's not a separate conference room, it's in
Yeah.
the captain's office, there's space enough to be able to meet with.
So it'll be in the office, will just be a little round table with 4 chairs. Other questions? Speak now. Thank you.
me with the code word, they could get a free meal or a prize of some sort. So it pays to read the highlights. So ways to stay informed here at Rolling Green. First is to read your highlights, check the portal, listen to your one call now messages, and check your monthly calendar. So the highlights go out every Friday in your every Friday or around Friday in your mailbox. Sometimes maybe they go out on Saturdays. And from time to time you'll also receive communications from Ryan or food and beverage or another department along with your highlights. Please read all of these communications. They are very important. They have important information in them. Save them. Don't read them and throw them away. Keep them to refer back to. Keep them for about a week or so. I mean, I'm not saying keep them forever, but just keep them at least for a week so you can refer back to them. In the highlights, if you have never read your highlights, you will find next week's schedule, changes to the schedule, important updates and reminders, not just from my department, but from other departments, cancellations, upcoming events, upcoming bus dates, and new bus dates. And a lot of times you'll see on there, opening on Monday morning, the new bus date, so you can be the first to go on there, okay? So you'll get all that information. The portal is where you can always have up-to-date information at your fingertips. So if you have it on your phone, you have it with you all the time. If you don't have the portal or need an assistance, if you didn't know this, we have a portal class every month. It's usually on the 4th Thursday of the month at 11 o'clock in Blue Ridge Room C. This month it'll be on July 24th. So if you need help with your portal, you don't have it, you don't know how to use it, come to the class. Or you can call one of us in Community Life and we can help you as well. So, and our offices are just right here outside of where the Village Center is, across from the concierge desk, near Judy's office. In the portal, you'll find the daily schedule where you can sign up for activities and bus dates or bus trips, the daily menu, fitness schedule, information on the clinic, information on marketing, committee meeting minutes, and I messed that one up unless Lindsay fixed it. Updates on the chapel, dining room reservations. You can make the reservations for the dining room on the portal. Soon to be added, the resident handbook. There's an icon you've probably seen it, those who use the portal. Videos including Ryan's meeting and other chorale concerts and other types of events. So there's more information. So there's all kinds of things that you can find on the portal. But the One Call Now messaging system, it allows us to send emergency alerts or routine updates via your telephone. Some people opt out of this because I know you get a lot of one calls, or they simply just don't listen to them, okay? If you do not get the one call and you want to get it, let us know. We will sign you up for it. But you're missing a lot of important information if you opt out of the One Call Now or you don't listen to them, okay? And then finally, the monthly calendars go out once a month, usually the Friday before the next month starts. The calendar only includes the month's activities, but it does not have the fitness schedule in there or any other special events that may have been planned after the calendar was printed. It is subject to change, which is why it's important that you read your highlights and check the portal, okay? Please take advantage of these communications so you don't ever have to say, I didn't know, okay? All right, any questions about that? Yes.
Do the people in the patio homes get the same amount of highlights as the people in the apartments?
Yes.
Because I have seen paper copies here printed out that have a page or two more than what I get.
Right. So we used to print the entire highlights, which are the final 2 pages that are in the highlights are things that never change or usually don't change. There may be a few things that change. We got, a lot of people complained because they felt like it was a waste of paper. So everybody gets the same printed highlights every week. It's the apartments and patio homes. If you want the full printed copy, you can come to one of the concierge desks and get that, okay? The final 2 pages, a lot of times it'll have maybe new residents, or it has information about the clinic, it has some important numbers, but we also download the highlights every week in the portal. So, and that's the entire portion. So that's the only thing, but everybody gets the same printed copy. Any other questions about that? Okay, final thing is our part-time wellness coordinator will start on July 21st. His name is Robert Yoder. His professional summary includes he's a professional trainer. He has extensive knowledge in kinesiology and biomechanics. He's worked in multiple health settings, and he has 15 years of experience. So I'm really looking forward to see what he and Emily can come up with to help benefit y'all. Okay, any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Hello. Wanted to go over the update on the meal credit process. We spoke about this at the last meeting, and just want to make sure that some folks that maybe weren't here for that or need some more clarification. So we thought we'd run through it a little bit again. So the first question is, why are we doing this? And for a couple reasons. We have a new billing process, and so that's highly motivated it. But another very big is just the transfer of cash and checks from the front desk to accounting. We are trying to minimize that because obviously it's a lot of cash moving around. I sent a letter out back on June 5th discussing this, and that it would start effective July 1st, and of course July 1st is come and gone, and it has in fact started. Again, it's a pay-as-you-go type system now, which means the meal cards, we are no longer selling those, and obviously we know it's not without its flaws to start, but we had yet another meeting today with full count, and I'll be honest with you, I feel like it addressed all the issues. What I can tell you is many people's accounts are working properly, whereas you're ordering things, it will be added to your account, you'll see a total, and at the end of the month, it'll be sent to accounting, who will convert your credits into dollar amounts. In other words, however many credits you've used for the month, it'll be multiplied times $1.55. So we can see it's working for many of you. We can also see it's not working for all of you, and we had some very good examples of some residents where it wasn't working, and we were able to dig into it to see why, and full count is working through these issues. I do believe sometime next week they should work through these, and we can fix those where their meal card balance was not attached to their account, so it then starts, counting it down. But I really feel anyone that's got an issue should be resolved next week. But what I will tell you is, no matter what, all of your issues that you're having will be resolved. No one needs to worry about it. We will ensure that it's taken care of, and you will definitely not lose anything. We can see everything you've purchased. We can see what your gift card value was effective June 30th, and that data will not be lost. So I just want everyone to just be easy about it. It's all going to happen. But again, I can clearly see some of y'all's accounts are already working. So with that said, are there any questions? If yours isn't right, it will be. So there's really no reason to go into all that, but it will be fixed. But go ahead.
My question was that the patio homes balances were not being shown on full count before. Are they going to be shown in the future?
I was told they already were. But,
Okay, I haven't checked it, I guess, in a couple of days.
But I could confirm that. Anyone else? Well, you're right there. Just make one stop shop. if you want, and we've had a handful of people that have said, you know what, just refund the funds on my meal card back to me, and whether it's a check or whatever, accounting will handle that. We've got the process worked out, and I think everyone's understanding how it's supposed to happen. But we wanna make sure everything's cleaned up by the end of the year. So in other words, there won't be any meal card balances after the end of the year. Everyone else will just have to be refunded. If you've got credits still on your meal card, you'll be credited at the end of the year. Is that good?
Yeah, that just has to be made clear now.
Okay.
I have a question,
Yes.
why the patio homes and all those other patio homes and all those places get reimbursement for the meal tickets not used and residents don't?
The meal cards, they pay cash for them at a stated value.
And I don't pay cash for mine, you don't take it out of my bank account?
Yours is part of your,
But it's
monthly
still
fee.
my money. And I'm still not using everything, why should I lose the money that I'm paying for?
Our commitment for everyone in the apartments is to ensure that you're given one meal per day. Whether or not you choose to use it is your decision.
But it's still my money that you're taking away from me, that I'm paying for. I don't go into a restaurant anywhere in Greenville that I have to pay in advance for my meals. And I'm paying in advance $300 a month for my meals here.
And I promise you, typically most of us are getting much more than $300 worth of food. It's an extreme discount, an extreme discount. Everyone that's eating here is not being taken, y'all are sharing the costs with each other.
Sure we are.
And
We're sharing it with everybody.
that is correct, but it's
But
a
I'm
very
not
fair and
getting-
equitable system.
It is not equitable.
I appreciate your concern, but unless someone overrules me, I'm feeling pretty comfortable with what I've just stated.
That's great. I'm not.
I understand, and I apologize. Anyone else?
Bruce, can you talk about the online reservations and how many of them are split up?
Sure. Also, online reservations actually are going very well. And right now for lunch, we accept 20 reservations per 15-minute block throughout the hour. At dinner, it's 15 and 20, 15, 20 just rotates, but we're gonna actually change that effective the 21st, to where it'll be 20 every 15 minutes. In other words, we can take reservations for 80 people per hour. And right now, we accept on those reservations, 10 of them can be, per 15-minute block, can be done online. The real intent though is, again, we gotta work through some things with full count, is to go to all reservations done on full count. It doesn't mean that if you don't have a computer, there's nothing you can do. You'll still make the phone call, we'll still add you to the list, but the idea is to open it up for all the reservations for people that are doing it online, because some people are concerned that, well, when I call, all the reservations are filled up, and there might be some available for people that walk in or call. So this will take that away, and to be honest with you, it definitely that's the way we want it to go, and those that are doing it, it gives you a little bit more flexibility. It's us working with you, those that are working with us on that particular process. Yes?
When I've gone in to try to cancel a reservation, if I cancel a reservation, I can go in and cancel it, but it doesn't cancel it. If I do it online and I go down and I check, it doesn't, they don't have it at the full.
All right, I'll get with Claudia and we can check the
Yeah,
full count
does
on
it-
that. Good
how
question.
It doesn't transfer over.
Okay.
If I do it that day, it doesn't, they don't check the computer that day, or there's a miscommunication someplace.
I will get with my dining room team and we'll look into that and see if we can't make sure we're doing it properly. There might be something we're not doing, it might be something from full count. Yes?
When Bob Torres just had our residents,
Y'all gotta give time to catch up with you now, come on.
when Bob Torres just presided over our Residents Association meeting this last month, Kathy Dabrowski gave an excellent presentation on the food, and she said she herself has had instances of trying to make a reservation at 2 minutes after midnight and being told it's full, and that's what's just happened to me again.
Right.
Again, it happens to me times also. It happened this week. It's not for the first time.
We're hopeful that this should minimize that, because again, all the reservations for that block will be open. So in other words, if it was just 10, it'll go up to 20, and that should definitely, it'll definitely increase by 100%. So it should, I can't guarantee for everyone you're gonna get your 5:45 reservation time, because again, if we pick one time, many of y'all will come at the same time. Again, hence the reservations to control the flow of the business. But this will help. Promise. Anyone else? Okay, great. Thank you for your time.
Good afternoon. I'm going to start with some topics in the higher levels of care. So we'll start with census. So census today, we're at 77% occupancy in Evergreen Place and in rehab. In healthcare, we're actually at 98% occupancy with just one bed open. And in Cedars, we're 100% occupied. And then I want to talk about EP. So last month I mentioned briefly that we were updating Evergreen Place. So that is still continuing. So far, they've actually, if you haven't had an opportunity to walk through Evergreen Place, please do that. But around the resident rooms, they've redone all the flooring, all new handrails, all new paint. It looks a lot brighter. New light fixtures. So the back part of the building is pretty much done. They're working on the activity room now. So we're kind of playing musical chairs between what room's done and what room's not, to make sure residents still have a place to gather. The theater is pretty much done. We've put new carpet in there and painted it. They hung a TV last week. We had to give them a lesson on how to hang a frame TV. If no one knows what that is, you have to cut a box into the wall. So that was new to navigate, not just for us, but also for the construction company. So it's been fun. We've learned a lot along the way, but we are still estimated to complete that project in September. Actually, yesterday scheduled our furniture delivery for September the 4th, so we're excited for that. Next month I will share some before and after pictures for those residents in independent living who may not know what EP looked like beforehand and what it looks like now. We are planning, once Evergreen Place is completed, we'd like to do some kind of grand opening per se, so maybe have refreshments and schedule for independent living residents to come through and look at that space once it's completed. Any questions regarding Evergreen Place and their renovation? No? Okay, and then, excuse me. I only have two more things. I want to talk about some leadership changes that are going on within the nursing side of the health center and the higher levels of care. So recently we have promoted Danny Presley. I'm not sure if anybody's been in rehab and know Danny. So she actually started here as a floor nurse and then became our rehab unit manager. So if you've been in rehab, she has dark red hair. She's been in the ED meeting when she started the unit manager position, but we have promoted her to the assistant director of nursing. So she will follow under Legree. She will be Legree's kind of next step in training her to become a director of nursing at some point in time. So we do see a lot of opportunity in Danny, and she's done great in the first couple of weeks that she's been in the role. So of course, when we do that, a position opens, and we actually were able to fill that, the rehab unit manager position, internally. So we're always thankful to see those opportunities happen. So Shannon Powers, if you've been in rehab, she's probably been one of your nurses. She was actually our employee of the month for the month of June, and she has promoted to the rehab unit manager role. She comes to Rolling Green. She's been with us for about a year and a half. She actually came to us through when Brandy Reese left. She was our assistant director of nursing. When she left last summer, she applied for that position. And she said, you know, was moving from Florida,
been in the position as an ADON for a long time, and she said, I really want to go back to working the floor. I miss being with residents on a daily basis, so she slated into a full-time position and has done that since last April, May, and has done really well with it. So when this opportunity came about, we said, Shannon, we'd love to have you. With the clinical knowledge that you have, she's been a nurse for a long time, the leadership skills that she has, she was willing to accept that position. So we're in the middle of transitioning those roles, but we're excited to have both of them in the positions that they're in. Last month I talked about the deficiency-free survey that we had in the month of May, and also our 5-star increase with the Centers of Medicare and Medicaid Services. So we've increased from a 1-star to a 5-star over the past 2 years. It's a lot of work that's gone into that. It's a huge team effort to do that, and we do want to recognize that. So I'm going to have Hannah Jones, the Associate Administrator, come up and speak, as she has really helped to lead what that celebration with our staff is going to look like. So I'll welcome her up.
Hi guys, good afternoon. So yeah, we wanted to celebrate the employees for all the hard work that they did to achieve this 5-star rating and also the deficiency-free survey. So we decided that we wanted to do something. It'll be on the 22nd of this month. It'll be a Tuesday. And we wanted to have some food trucks out. So I scheduled 2 food trucks. One will be from table 301, and then a taco truck also. And then we also have a popsicle stand coming out so that staff members can have a dessert as well. And then in addition to that, we're looking at doing some giveaways and just having a fun event for staff members throughout the day to be able to come to and just enjoy on their breaks. So yeah, does anyone have any questions?
That's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, I got about 16 minutes here. It's great that Hannah, we're making sure she gets exposure to public speaking, and I think we just threw that, Anna Grace just threw that on her like within the last 10 minutes. So she volunteered, so that's good. Extremely excited about the work that the team did to get that deficiency-free survey. It's not easy, so we want to recognize it's not just nurses. It also includes housekeepers and food and beverage and the entire team. So that'll be fun. The 22nd, I've also got something in the slide deck here. We're having an opportunity for you all on the 22nd, a new opportunity as well. So do want to back up a little bit to what Bruce was talking about before. I know there's been a good amount of buzz around the changes that we have. I know that folks don't like change that much, and particularly change that they didn't ask for. So it's something that was brought on us. But we are committed to making sure if you have any questions or you have a concern, please let us know. We're not trying to take advantage of anybody. We're not trying to pull the wool out from someone or do something like that. So just let us know, and we will work through it, and we'll make sure that we find a resolution for you. And we're going to continue to be tweaking the full count system and the software and make sure it's more user friendly. That call today was very helpful, and we're going to continue to have some of those opportunities to make sure it's a little bit smoother. I know more and more of our residents are embracing technology. We still do have a handful that are not fans of it, so we can't just go one route or the other. We need to have options. So, did want to let you know that the June financials, I normally leave with that, they're not quite done yet. It was a good month that we exceeded our revenues, and we exceeded our goal, but it's not quite been finalized yet. So, I don't know if folks are aware, but every month our team puts together the financials, and then it's reviewed by folks in Life Care Services in Des Moines. There's a lot of a back and forth of questioning journal entries, making sure that we're putting things in the right buckets, you could say, to make sure that when we get to the audit at the end of the year, those third-party folks, that everything is accurate as best as can be. So there's a lot of a rush, and we try to close by the 10th of every month, but with the holiday, it was a little bit more tight, and then when you have the weekend days, depending on when they fall. But Sean and her team has been working really hard, and it was another good month, and I'll let you know more about it next month. All right, moving along, the chapel. We are going to have a tie-in coming up, and I appreciate Judy's opportunity to talk more about the chapel, as we've had more questions as it's going very quickly from nothing to a structure, which is exciting to see. We have to tie it in, you could say, to the rest of the structure, and that'll be happening. I don't have the exact date. I don't know if Skip has it. I think the 21st. So Monday the 21st. There's blue tape out here in the hallway. It's going to have to temporarily block off the hallway, but you will be able to still access. You're going to come in through this door, and you're going to go around the area that's going to be blocked off. So it's going to be for, I think, 2 or 3 days, where they have to connect items from the ceiling to what's coming through to eventually connect the chapel, as the door is going to be right there, and we want it to be open. So we do want you to have a heads up on that. We're going to have some signage. We wanted to put the blue tape down so you could see where it's going to be blocked, and also see where you can go around through this door and continue to move inside. It is a small inconvenience. I'm grateful it's not for longer than a couple of days, but we'll get you some more information. Just wanted you to have a heads up on that. The Lakeside Shoreline Stabilization Project, we are going to be meeting with folks from Lakeside hopefully on the 21st. We got easements that were squared away, and we're going to be visiting with the board and also with some of those residents. There's a couple of feet of property that we need to be able to access to build a retaining wall and to make sure that we have ongoing access to the shoreline in case something were to happen in the future. So that's kind of where we're at, but we are continuing to collaborate. We've been collaborating with Strange Brothers to finalize the plans, and also with a civil engineer and Skip and myself. There will be trees that come down as the beginning of that project. So we'll see trees come down along Hoke Smith. They'll provide access for the equipment to come down. And then there will also be, that's when we're going to also back up and fix the Hoke Smith bump in the road that keeps getting more. And we'll also be adding that curb and guttering and sidewalk. So it's going to be a back-to-back project. The wall will be first, and then they're going to back out of that space and upgrade some of the sidewalks, and then continue to build the sidewalk along Hoke Smith. And then we do have a plan to replant, and we have a landscaping plan that we're going to execute in that space. We won't be putting back a lot of trees, but there will be trees in that plan. And we've been working with Holly from Earth Design on that plan to make sure that it happens sequentially. So I've told Skip we do not want to have the trees come down and then nothing happen for weeks and weeks and weeks. So it needs to be sequenced, and we're working with Strange Brothers, and we feel good about them making sure the sequencing works. The Village Green Courtyard, the latest there, we continue to work through. We've had a meeting. It's been a little while though, but we are waiting for 2 contractor bids, working with Maven Construction and Clancy on the structure. So once we get those bids from those 2 contractors, then we'll revisit and we'll look into see what the scope is and what the cost is, but this does continue to be a priority for us. And then the middle pond planting, we had a meeting July 1st with a handful of residents to talk about how we can upgrade that space and work on the habitat and work on the look and the feel of that space. So that middle pond is kind of a detention retention area. You could call it the swampy pond before. It was tried to clean up and tried to fix the water drainage. We do have a lot of rock on the shoreline. We're trying to take away the emphasis of the rock and build in some plant materials. It's going to be a phased project. It's not going to happen overnight, but we are going to get started on that, and she's working on some of the plans. We got some good feedback from residents, and we're going to be continuing to edit those plans and then slowly work on that project to rebuild that area and make it look a little more attractive. It's going to have more of kind of a natural feel, but trying to make sure it's more attractive, and also encourages the wildlife that we've seen for a number of years here. We know when we take down trees, that does impact the wildlife. Phase 2, I made a typo here. It's actually 12 months. We've been on the sales process for a year, and we're up to 78 sales, which is awesome. 90 is the number that we want to get to. Hopefully here, September-ish, October-ish. We might come a little short of that, but we do still feel confident that this project is going to move forward. And we do feel good about some of the work being done to secure some of the financing. So there's still some work to be done, but we do see a lot of positive momentum, and we are continuing to complete planning, working with Life Care Services Development, working with Clancy and Phase and SFCS to make sure that this happens. So I wanted to share with you something new that we shared with our depositors a couple weeks ago. We had an event that was downtown in Cleveland Park next to the Greenville Zoo, and we shared some of the video fly through and help people understand what is a carriage home. There's been a lot of questions about it because we don't have one here. We have cottages, we have apartments, but we don't have a carriage home. So we worked with an outside vendor to create this video fly through, which I want to show to you. It takes about 4 minutes. But before we got there, I wanted you to be aware of what a carriage home is. So it is a kind of a hybrid between an apartment and an individual home. It does have some common spaces, and it does have covered parking underneath. So you want to go ahead, you can watch the video real quick. Looks like there's some rain out there. You guys might be sticking around a little bit. Mike's got one umbrella. So you're gonna share that, Mike? Or, oh, you're not gonna share that. Okay, you were the smart guy. You're the smartest person in the room. Anybody else have an umbrella? Okay, we got a few more. I don't have an umbrella. It's in my car. That's usually where I keep it. Let's see if we can pull this up. There's no music, but we'll just sit here and watch a little bit. So this is across Hoke Smith. This is Hoke Smith right here. And these are the 3 carriage homes that will be on the other side where where those large trees are, where the parking area is, the craft parking sign. So from the street side, it'll look like a 2-story building, but there's actually a lower level on the opposite side due to the slope. One of the nice parts about the carriage homes is there are primarily, you could say, 4 units that are corner units. And when people are in our apartments, everybody wants the corner unit. Well, this has 10 of the 12 units are, you could say, corner units, which have more openness and more exterior windows. We did take a visit to North Carolina to see these. So there's a community we went to, Davidson, called the Pines of Davidson, that has a product like this. We went to Durham, North Carolina. We went to Chapel Hill. It's been a little over a year, but this would be the first setup like this in South Carolina. So underneath, on the ground level, there is a garage with parking for the folks that live there. Now our ceiling's not going to look like that, just so you know.
Are there elevators?
There's an elevator, so as you come out, you'll see this is where you come out of the garage into this space and you go up an elevator. There will be 2 units on this ground level, and you go up an elevator to the 2nd and 3rd floor.
How many total apartments?
So there's 12 total apartments in each. So there's 12, 12, 12. So there's 36 units. So this is kind of a common living space.
Is that on each floor?
There's one on the 2nd and 3rd floor, but not on the ground floor where the elevator is. That's where that space is. This will give you a feel for inside an apartment. And we're hopeful that this kind of helps us close the gap, as this product is not sold as much as the other 2 areas, because I think people can't visualize it. And it's still not quite final. It's almost final. There's a few more edits we've got to do, but I wanted to share it with y'all today.
How many square feet?
These are, I believe, 2-bedroom with a den. And that's the den space right there. But Lexi and myself had a chance to give feedback to the gentleman that created this, and it feels like a video game. So that's what we had a chance to share a couple of weeks ago at the event, just to kind of give people a feel for it, because we have seen 70% sales of our cottages. We have seen 70% sales of the apartments. But this one, the 36 units have not sold that high yet. we feel strongly this is still a really good option for folks, and once it's here, that people will see it and they'll really like it. We'll go next. So I talked about July 22nd, you're invited. So we are gonna have the staff appreciation event for the deficiency-free survey and the 5-star rating. But we're also gonna have the board meeting that evening, and at this board meeting, we've got special visitors from Life Care Services. Jill Sorensen and Don Ruppel are vice presidents that wanted to come out to walk our campus and see what Rolling Green Village is about. Don has been here before, but Jill hasn't. And Jill's with Life Care Services for over 43 years, which is pretty special. She lives in Florida, and she's committed to me since she was part of our support team that she would eventually come out. So we get to see her in a couple of weeks. So she wanted to have an opportunity to visit with residents. So we're going to have an opportunity for her to visit with staff, and then so we're going to have you could say a meet and greet ice cream social up in the Commons, utilizing our new soft serve machine. So from 2 to 3:30, if you'd like to stop up, please do. So my boss will be here, and Jill is my boss's boss, you could say. So Jacob, Jill, and then Dawn is a VP of sales for Life Care Services. So just want to make sure you're aware about that. This is kind of a neat resident moment. We have 78 folks that are on our priority list. 6 of them have had loved ones that have lived here in the past. That's pretty special. I was blown away. I met a couple of those folks at the picnic area near the Cleveland Park Zoo. And I thought that was pretty neat to know, hey, my mom lived here, and I want to come and be a part of that. Just shows the impact that we have on the community and on people. So that was all that I have. It's 3:59. Take a couple questions. I do have to run up front. As Lindsay showed you, we have a strategic committee meeting in a little bit, but what questions y'all have?
What's the cost of cottages?
The cost of the cottages, I don't have that number memorized. There's an individual cost for each unit. This is a carriage home. There's different pricing there. So I believe the cottages are more expensive, and then just underneath that is the carriage home price, and then underneath that is the apartment pricing. But the pricing is based upon square footage. We can get that for you if you want to stop up at the front. JD can get you a pricing sheet, and we can definitely share it with you.
I just wondered what the lake projects with all the rocks, they were lovely looking, but when will the black sheeting come down? It's not attractive.
Skip is going to answer that.
We put the screening up as a silt fence and it's required by Greenville County so that all that stuff doesn't run down into the lake and into the stream. So we've got a lot of projects taking place. It will be in the fall, and I'm probably looking at September, October, once all this stuff is done and stabilized and the planning and all before that comes out. You may even see some places where there's additional fencing goes up. So that's just, we've been constantly working, constantly moving in there. But it is doing what it's supposed to do, because you see all these rains and all that we've had, and it's been very effective along with what we've done in the stabilization of the shorelines.
Other questions? If you don't feel comfortable asking a question here, I'm happy to visit with you. There are a lot of really good things that are happening. I'm excited about the chapel and Evergreen Place. For a number of years, staff and residents have said, don't forget about us over here, because sometimes it is kind of tucked away, and it's really going to be special. I'm looking forward to that open house. And for a number of years, that space has been a little bit overdue, so it's really raising the bar, and it's going to be really nice, and it's going to be nice for not only current residents, but also for future residents. So excited to show that off a little bit in a very short period of time. All right, thank you all. Have a good day.